Alara was a cartographer, but not of lands you could see on a map. She mapped the whispers of the city, the ghost of a forgotten melody hummed by a baker, the rhythmic clatter of a printing press that had been silent for a decade, the echoes of a child's laughter bouncing off a brick alleyway long after they had grown up. She carried a leather-bound notebook, its pages filled with intricate, swirling lines that represented the city's hidden soundtrack. One crisp autumn morning, a new sound appeared on her mental map. It was a single, clear note, like the strike of a tiny silver bell, that emanated from the old clock tower downtown. Alara knew the clock tower was broken, its grand chimes silenced years ago. Intrigued, she followed the sound, her chalk-stained fingers tracing its path on an invisible parchment in the air. She found the note's source not in the clock tower itself, but in the small, forgotten park beside it. There, a young boy with bright, earnest eyes sat on a bench, holding a small, intricate music box. The melody wasn't coming from the box, however. It was coming from him. As he focused, the air around him shimmered, and that single, perfect note resonated. The boy, whose name was Leo, could hear the city's forgotten sounds too. But unlike Alara, he could also collect and reform them. He was gathering the city's lost songs, holding them inside himself until he could find a way to set them free again. He explained that the sound from the clock tower was the last chime, the one that had broken off and been lost in the bustling wind, and he was trying to put it back. Alara, with her maps of whispers, and Leo, with his ability to make them audible, became an unlikely pair. She would trace the location of a forgotten sound, the faint squeak of a Ferris wheel from an amusement park that had long since become a parking lot, or the hum of an old streetcar that once rattled down Main Street. Leo would then listen, find the sound, and with a focused breath and a tiny motion of his hands, he would bring it back to life, if only for a fleeting moment. Their greatest challenge came in the form of a forgotten lullaby. It was a sweet, sad melody that had been sung to generations of children in the city's orphanage, a building now converted into a sleek, modern apartment complex. The sound was faint, almost completely erased by the new building's polished surfaces and silent air conditioning. It was a sound full of love and longing, and its silence was a void in the heart of the city. Alara mapped the lullaby's last known location to a corner of the building's rooftop garden. As Leo tried to coax the sound out, nothing happened. He was straining, his brow furrowed in concentration, but the sound was simply too weak. It was then that Alara understood. The lullaby wasn't just a sound, it was a feeling, a memory tied to the people who had heard it. She didn't need to trace a location. She needed to trace a feeling.